Hello Year 6 and welcome to Wednesday's maths lesson. A big well done for yesterday's work. It was a couple of things that we have not covered yet together, so you did a really good job of having a go at it at home with both your line graph and the mean. So a massive well done from me. So brilliant. Okay, so today before we get started, to get our brains warmed up, we are going to have a go at a Kahoot quiz. So there is a mixture of questions on there for you to have a go at. So please log in, have a go. Please make sure you use your name so that I can send a marvellous me to you. So I'll be keeping an eye on it all day to see who's been going on. So I'll be sending you a marvellous me to say well done for your efforts on Kahoot. So I'll step to the side and you can pause, go onto Kahoot and have a little go of the game, of the quiz that I've put on there for you. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed going on the Kahoot. Like I said, I'll be going on and sending marvellous me's to you and having a look how you have done. So today then, it's another little bit of new learning. So when we come back to school, which hopefully will be next week, we are going to be looking at fractions, decimals and percentages. So I wanted to just get you started on that to give you an idea of the kind of thing we're going to be looking at together. So today then, our learning question is, can I write fractions and decimals as a percentage? So that's what we are going to be looking at today. So it is page 19 out of your workbook, but only section 1. That's all I'm going through today. There's going to be a few activities for you to do on the board as well, but it's only section 1. I'll show you which one I am looking at. So it's these ones at the top. It's these questions at the top. But like I say, there's going to be other little activities on the board for you to do as well, bits to do that we are going to do together. So today then we are we're changing fractions and decimals into a percentage. Okay, so just to quickly go through what percentage means. So percent means out of 100. That means when it's written as a fraction, it's always got 100 as the denominator. Okay, and if you haven't got 100 as a denominator, I'm going to show how you can do that so that you can write your percentage easily. So when we talk about it, we're referring to a fraction that's out of 100. So instead of writing it as a fraction, we use the percent symbol, which you will have seen. Okay, so we're going to go through how to do that. Okay, so if your fraction already has a denominator of 100, then writing it as a percentage is really easy. Okay, so if your fraction already has a denominator of 100, that means it's 12 out of 100, then it will be 12%. So an example of this is, say you had something like 100 sweets and 12 out of 100 were red, then 12% would be red. Okay, so if your denominator is already 100, then you can just use the numerator. Okay, so even if it's something, a single digit number, like 9 out of 100, so 9 out of 100 are red sweets, then that would be 9% are red sweets. Okay, so if your denominator is already 100, you can just use the numerator because that already means out of 100. So if it's not 100, I'm going to show you how to make an equivalent fraction so that you can use the numerator still. So you might have something like 13 out of 50. Okay, so your denominator might be 50. So in this case, we'd have to use multiplication to change 50 to 100. Okay, so we've got to think, what would I multiply 50 by to get 100? So I know that 50 multiplied by 2 is 100. Okay, now whatever we do to the denominator, we have to do the same to the numerator. So because we've multiplied the denominator by 2, we need to multiply the numerator by 2. So I'm multiplying 13 times 2. So 10 times 2 is 20, 3 times 2 is 6, so that would be 26. And then once I've got it over 100, then I can put 26%, because it now says 26 out of 100. And percent means out of 100. So then I can write 26%. So, okay, so I'll do another one where the denominator is different. So you might have a denominator then of 10. So you might have something like 7/10. Okay, let's get the pen to catch up. So you might have 7/10. So then you've got to think, I've got to multiply that. So 10 multiplied by something, I don't know what I've written to. 10 multiplied by something is 100. So have a think. You might say it out loud to, if somebody sat with you, or out loud to yourself. What would I multiply 10 by to get 100? Think about your times tables. So we should have remembered that 10 multiplied by 10 is 100. Okay, so whatever I've done to the denominator, I do to the numerator. Okay, so 7 multiplied by 10 is 70. So then, once I've got it out of 100, I can just write the percentage. Okay, so then I'd have 70%. So if we go back to our sweets, that would mean that 70 out of 100 are red. So 70% are red. Okay, so having a think about a couple of different ones then. So I might have, you might see something like this. Jump ahead. You might see 2/5 or something in fifths. So that means I've got to try and make 5 into 100. So I've got to think, what would I multiply 5 by to get 100? Now I know that I'd do 5 times 2 to get 10. So 5 times 20, because it's 10 times bigger, would be 100. So multiplied by 20. Now, if I've done that to the denominator, I've got to do the same to the numerator. Okay, so 5 times 20 is 100. And then 2 times 20, so 2 times 2 is 4, plus my 0, that would be 40. So then now I've got it out of 100, it would be 40%. Okay, so the final one that I'm going to go through with you for this bit, for fractions into percentages, is if you might have a quarter. Okay, a little bit trickier to change over 100. So I'm going to tell you that 4 multiplied by 25 is 100. Okay, that's one of those facts it's really useful to remember. So then I'll do the same to the numerator, multiply it by 25. So that would give me 25, and then I can do 25%. It's 25 out of 100. Okay, so the next bit then, I want you to just have a little go at these 4 in your purple book. Well, 5 I've got for you here. I want you to pause the video and I want you to have a little go at working out how to write these as a percentage. So for most of them, apart from this one, so for most of them, you are going to have to change it into an equivalent fraction. Okay, so that you can put it out of 100 and then write your percentage. So I'd like you to pause the video now and in your purple book, have a go at these 5. Okay, so let's have a little look at these ones. So I'm going to have a look at this one first. So because it's 10, I can multiply it by 10 and that would give me 100. And 5 times 10 is 50. So that one should be 50%. Okay, 5 then. So I'd have to multiply them both by 20. So 5 times 20 is 100. 3 times 20, so 3 times 2 is 6. Put my 0 back on, and that one would be 60%. Okay, this one I would just double them. So 100 and then 27 multiplied by 2. So 20 is 40. That one would be 54. That one. And then this one, 20 on the bottom. So 20 multiplied by 5 is 100. 12 times 5 is 60. Oh, those ones are the same. So 60%. And then finally, this one, the final one was the easiest one. It's already out of 100, so you should have got 53%. Okay, so that is how you do your fractions into a percentage. So I'm going to go through decimals next, because you've also got to do some decimals as percentages. Now the decimal ones are really easy, especially as you've got 2 decimal places. So if you've got 2 decimal places, that already shows that it's hundredths. So if you remember from our place value, you've got ones, tenths, hundredths. Okay, so we already know, because this has got 2 decimal places, that it's hundredths. So this would be, let's move along, 52 hundredths. And I bet now I've written that, you could tell me straight away what the percentage would be. So maybe you want to tell somebody who's next to you, or say it out loud or in your head and see if you are right. But now you've seen it like that, now you've seen it as a fraction, I think you'll know what it will be. So I know lots of you will have said 52%, and you would be right. Okay, so having a look at this one then. So remember, because we've got tenths, we've got hundredths, this would be 48 hundredths. And then as soon as it's like that, out of 100, we can write the percentage. Okay, so I've got a few like that for you to look at. And I want you to pause the video and have a little go at these, but I don't think this is going to take you very long at all, because these are lovely and easy. Okay, so I'll quickly go through them. So this one would be 14%, 65%, 26%, 17%. This one is just 8%. And this one would be 32%. Okay, so you have had a really quick lesson on how to change fractions to percentages and decimals to percentages. So you need to now go to that first section and write these fractions and decimals as percentages. Okay, you might have to do some converting to equivalent fractions. Okay, so I'm looking forward to seeing how you get on, because percentages is something we definitely have not done before, but I think you'll be brilliant.